The Cooper and Anthony Show.
If I got married right now, like my boyfriend proposed to me, I would keep my name. He would keep his name. I would keep my name. We would just be us. And then there'd be like a legal document somewhere in the world that ties us together for life.
So you wouldn't change your last name to his last name?
No. Not at this point, because first of all, I've already established myself as my name. Mm-hmm. It would be weird. Like, I hate when celebrities do that, when they get married and suddenly they have a new name. Like, Priyanka Chopra. We got to know her on Quantico, and now suddenly she's Priyanka Jonas. No, you're not. You're Priyanka Chopra. Do you know what I mean? People like that. Just celebrities that change their name once they're famous. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot to get used to. I don't know. For me, it does, because they become famous. Not that you and I are famous or anything, but I have established myself in our industry as a certain name. So if somebody started hearing the name, I don't know, Cooper Bananas, they'd be like, who's Mrs. Bananas?
If I married somebody and they wouldn't take my last name, I wouldn't do it. That would be the end of the relationship.
Okay, excuse me. If Margot Robbie or Jennifer Aniston, who are way more rich than you, way more famous than you, have established their names as Jennifer Aniston and Margot Robbie, and by the way, when Jennifer Aniston married Brad Pitt, she wasn't Jennifer Pitt. She was Jennifer Aniston.
Okay, because he's got no balls. I would stand up and say, no, I'm not marrying you until you change your last name. I'm sorry. That's the way I am. I was brought up like that, and that will never change.
Margot Michaels is a stupid name.
I don't care.
Margot Robbie is a great name.
That's just the way I wouldn't marry her. I'm just telling you. If we got to that conversation and I'm going to say, you're taking my last name and you're saying, no, I'm not, then I'm moving out.
You wouldn't marry Margot Robbie
no.
if she didn't take your last name?
No, because she's got that stupid accent and she's not taking my name. It doesn't look right. No, you have to take my last name. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We are not getting married.
Okay, Jennifer Aniston. She doesn't have the stupid accent. Jennifer Aniston, who's established herself as Jennifer Aniston, is not going to be Jennifer Michaels. She's not taking your last name. You are breaking up with Jennifer Aniston because she won't take your last name. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, I am. That's how strong I feel about it.
I'll tell you what's interesting about that. It seems to go in waves. So there was generations that took each other's last name, no problem. Then Gen Xers and millennials, no, everybody kept their name. Very few people would take the husband's last name, or some people would hyphenate, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Now, Gen Z, who you think is so progressive, they are back to taking their husband's names. People who are getting married in their 20s right now, not only are they taking their husband's name, they are tattooing their maiden names on their ankles.
So they don't forget?
It's the way they're keeping it. It's the most bizarre thing. So that's, I guess, the reason why women don't want to give up their last name is because it's who they are, their identity, their family. So they're finding a way to honor their past identity and their family by tattooing their maiden name on their ankles.
I do not want to go to my mailbox and see a letter that says to Anthony Michaels and Jennifer Aniston. No.
Oh, you don't?
No. It's got to say Mr. and Mrs. Michaels on the letter. I don't want to see that. If I see that, I'm going to lose my mind.
Let me tell you something, bitch. If you're marrying Jennifer Aniston, you're going to be Anthony Aniston.
Oh.
That's what's happening. You are changing. She's going to make sure that you're going to be.
Well, at
Jennifer
least one of us
Anthony
is bowing down to
Aniston.
the name. I will take her name. Fine. No, that's not going to happen. I'm telling you. I'm not walking down the aisle unless you are being that last name. To me, we're not married. That's what it means to me.
Wow.
We are not legally married. You're just my roommate if you're not taking my last name.
Ashton Kutcher is Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis is Mila Kunis, and they are married. They didn't take each other's last names because they're not nuts like you.
It's not that they're nuts. They're not really married. They're married in fake world. They're married on paper, and they're roommates. They're not really married because she doesn't have his last name.
Relationship expert Cooper Lawrence joins me.
Sex, relationships, and advice. The Cooper and Anthony Show.
This is interesting. Everybody's been talking about this for the past few weeks, but I just want to poke a couple of holes in this. So a lot of times so you probably know already I'm a psychologist, but part of what I used to do is I would, we would write articles. We would do studies and then publish our findings. I'm that kind of psychologist where I did a lot of research and stuff like that. When you publish your findings and then you send it out to the media, a lot of times the media picks up on the little tiny piece of it that feels like a headline, which is normally not part of the entire story at all. So the big thing people were talking about all week last week, and they're still talking about it now, dating on an app results in a crappier marriage. Married couples who met online were less satisfied than couples who met in person or at work or even at a bar. So I was like, well, that doesn't feel right to me. Something about this, kind of yucky.
But it's a study. You have to believe all studies. You're a scientist. You have to believe all studies.
Hang on a minute. So what I did, because I am a scientist and I have my psychology, this is my only flex, that I have access to the actual study. I'm not going to read the headlines that are in, the local paper. I'm going to go and get the actual study, which I did. And I will tell you that what they found in this study is true for gay couples. If you think of the tens of thousands of people that meet on dating apps, get married
Every
through
day.
dating apps, every single day. Yeah, one of my really close friends, she's got the best relationship I've ever seen in my life. She and her husband are so cute together. They've been together for a really long time. They're like that couple you hang out with, and you can't believe they're not new because they're always kissing and hugging and touching each other. You're like, did you guys just start dating? They're like, nope, 10 years. They met on a dating app. And I know a lot of couples that met on dating apps that are super happy, which is why this study didn't make any sense to me. And there's a lot of people that they can't meet people in person. They have social anxiety. They finally meet people on a dating app, and now they're happy. So I went and looked at this study. The study, it was only 900 and something couples. It was mostly same-sex couples. They found this is true for gay couples, but not true. I'm not saying it's not true for straight couples, but this study didn't really look at that many straight couples. So this is just one of those things that when you see a headline, remember, they're trying to get attention. They're trying to get you to click. It's clickbait. So for the most part, if you saw this study and if you met on a dating app and you're super happy, of course you are.
But I think the odds are better that you're going to meet on a dating app because that's how everybody meets now.
Think about going to a bar and meeting somebody. Do you want to meet some guy who's drunk, who's sort of like, I guess I'll take you home? No. Whereas someone who's sober on a dating app, you meet them in person for coffee and then you get to know each other. That's what's so stupid, because the way you meet somebody is completely irrelevant. It has to do with what happens next. People meet in the weirdest ways.
If I meet you at a bar, it's because I talked to you on an app.
Right.
That's where we're hooking up is at the bar for a drink to meet each other. But we met 2 days ago on Tinder.
And then you have to look at the study and see, well, how many couples were not honest? If someone said to me, if I did meet my boyfriend through an app or some, online dating, whatever, I may be embarrassed about that. So I'm not going to say it.
Right.
I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, I met him at a restaurant because we met online and decided to meet in a restaurant. So now our story is that we met in a restaurant. So this study is really, really flawed. So if you saw that and felt bad about yourself or your marriage or thought, wow, I met on a dating app and now this doesn't predict very happy things for me in my future.
Sex, relationships, advice. The Cooper and Anthony Show.
You don't send gifts for the holidays, so you're out of this one. But for the rest of us who actually have family around the country and we love them and we like to buy them gifts around the holidays, that's most people except for Anthony, Uber has a new service. It will take your packages to the post office for you.
Are we that lazy now?
Well, here's the weird thing about it. When I buy gifts so my boyfriend is originally from California. He's got family who's in California. He's got family in Oregon. He's got family all over the country, Seattle, whatever. I just go on Amazon and I just put their address in and I have it shipped to them. That's how I usually do it. But then there's definitely stuff that I will find at a flea market or a street fair or something, some sort of precious little thing that, this is perfect for your sister. and we will package it up. And during the holidays, as you know, there's always a very long line at the post office. So Uber has this new service. It's only $5. That's the best part. They charge you $5. You give them all your packages, and they go wait online for you.
That doesn't sound right, because it costs more than $5 worth of gas to drive the stuff to the post office. How are they going to make money?
I have no idea, but this is what they're saying. How do you feel about companies that take a political stance or a social stance?
It's not their place.
That's what everyone says now. They just did a survey. They found that the majority of us do not want companies to voice their opinion. Just sell me socks. Why I gotta know what you think about social issues and politics and who you voted for? Like, just sell me your socks.
Brands do not need to have a side. They just need to be a brand.
Right, exactly. So this new study says that most of us do not want the brands. We don't care what you think. Don't stop telling us what you think. And this is interesting because they did this survey just a couple of years ago, and most people didn't care. They were like, yeah, what do I care what a brand thinks about something? You know, I buy what I buy. I'm loyal to my brands. Now it's amazing how much this has changed.
Well, if a brand tweets something out, let's say Twinkies, tweets something out for 9/11, something, they're going to catch hell about it. Don't do it. Right. Just don't. There's certain things you just don't touch. Just tweet about your gooey insideness. That's all you should tweet about.
Yeah, throw some shade at Chips Ahoy if you need to hate on anything.
Hate on another brand. That's always fun.
Right.
When Wendy's picks on McDonald's and McDonald's picks on Wendy's. I think
those are different brands.
It's fun. But no, don't take a side.
Yeah, if I was Twinkies, I would spend all day tweeting about the Keebler elves. Like rumors I heard about them.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Coming up, we have a new segment that you guys are going to love. It's called Anthony's Anonymous Question, where he pretends to be you. Not pretends. You've written in questions, and he is going to be you asking the question that you're too shy to ask. And then, is there a surefire way to know that your man is cheating? Is there one thing that he says that you're like, guilty?
We're going to have no time for that topic. So we're not going to be talking about that at all. Just wanting you to know. We're going to pass that one. We ran out of time, Cooper. Sorry.
I think you just proved my point. Anthony's Anonymous Question.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Sex, relationships.
Advice.
All right, we're doing this new segment. We realize there's a lot of people that call the show and they say, I don't want to be on the radio, but I really want you to answer my question. So we thought, you know what? We want to find a way for you guys to be on the radio without making you nervous. So what we're doing is Anthony is going to play you. It's a reenactment. Or it's Anthony, so it's a reenactment. What we're doing here. So male, female, doesn't matter what your question is.
No.
Send it to us, cooperandanthony.com. Send it to us there. And then Anthony will ask your question as you, and I will answer it as your psychologist friend.
All right. Kevin is up first, Cooper. And Kevin is at an auction right now. He's trying to buy things at an auction.
All right, Kevin, what's your question?
Hey, how you doing? I wanted to ask Anthony something. Anthony, are you there?
Yeah, Kevin. I'm over here while you're doing this, so just ask your question.
I've been with my wife for 4 years, and this ex texts me every once in a while. She sends me presents on Christmas and my birthday. She's really into me. So, should I keep people like this around just to feed my ego?
Oh, that's a great question, Anthony Kevin.
No, I'm Anthony. I'm over here. Kevin's on the phone.
Oh, okay, Kevin. Right.
Yeah,
that's a great question, Kevin. But what's interesting is Kevin wants your answer, Anthony.
Kevin, you always have to keep her on the side. You got to keep people on the bench all the time.
I'm sorry, Kevin, I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Kevin, how does your wife feel about you keeping an extra lady on the bench?
What are you talking about? She doesn't know. I bring home new bracelets every day and necklaces. I don't know where I found this on the ground. What are you talking about? You don't tell your wife things like that.
Yeah, Cooper, are you insane?
Yeah, she's crazy.
Okay. All right. So how about this? What about, do you feel bad, Kevin, about leading this poor woman on? Because she thinks she has a shot with you.
She buys me stuff. I like when chicks buy me stuff. And she's still into me. It feeds my ego. I like it.
Yeah, so just keep her around. Don't tell the wife. Don't tell the wife nothing.
Yeah, okay, so Kevin, I know you wanted Anthony's answer, but just so you know, I disagree with him 100%. That's a really terrible thing to do. It's a terrible answer. It's mean to do to the woman who is sitting around with false hopes.
You said doo-doo.
And spending all her money on you when a relationship is going nowhere. But you did ask Anthony, so
save her name.
You get what you give.
Save her name in your phone under Steve. That's how you get away with it.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I should change it from Kelly to Steve.
All right, Anthony, who's next?
Up next is Sophie, and Sophie Cooper is at a bowling alley right now when she's calling us.
Oh, she's calling us from the bowling alley, is she? Okay, Sophie, let's hear your question.
Let me start by saying I just turned 36 and I finally have a guy in my life that I'm really excited about, Cooper.
Oh, great. That's great, Sophie.
We've known each other for only a few weeks, but I say that I can see myself with this guy in a long-term relationship. We stay up talking all night long. We text like teenagers. It's so great.
Okay.
We spend a lot of time together, and we're thinking about making it official soon.
Now, does he know that you want it to be official, or you just think he wants to?
No, I think he's on board with me. But there's just one problem. He's the ex-husband of one of my friends.
Tell me more about that.
They've been divorced for 5 years. They have no kids together. I haven't told her, and honestly, I'm kind of scared to. I would love to hear what you and Anthony and the listeners have to say. What should I do?
I mean, it all depends on what kind of relationship she had with her ex, because I can't give you a definitive answer. The answer is it depends. I have an ex-husband, and I have no children with him. I was actually trying to set him up with people. I would meet women and be like, wow, I think that'd be really good for Sean Lee. Like, they'd be so lucky to have Sean Lee. He thought it was weird. He didn't want me setting him up with women. He had a problem with that. If it's going to ruin your friendship, it might ruin your friendship. And is it worth it to ruin your friendship over? How close are you with this woman? It's more important to have the love of your life. And they've been divorced for 5 years. They have no more connection.
Over the line! I'll have another beer, please. One more beer.
I say go for it. Go for it. Tell her you're dating her ex. And if she says, I'm not okay with it, say, well, I'm not asking your permission. I'm just letting you know. You don't have a say on who he dates. You don't have a say on who I date. Because if you do that, you're just a controlling bitch. So hopefully your friend is not a controlling bitch. And if she is a controlling bitch, then good riddance to her.
Mark that as a strike. Strike. He made a strike. And more onion rings, please.
Tell your friend, what do you care? You have enough friends. Look, you're out bowling. You have a whole league. Just hang out with them.
Exactly. I think tell her, and if she's controlling and awful about it, that's her problem, not yours.
One more beer. One more.
Well, she drank that beer pretty quick.
She really did.
I like beer.
Facts.
Relationship?
Advice. The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Anthony, does this sentence mean a guy is cheating?
Yes.
No, here's a scenario. So the girlfriend suspects the boyfriend might be cheating. So she confronts him and says, what's going on with you and Jessica? Every time I see you together, it makes me uncomfortable. It seems like you're more than friends. What is going on there? And his response is, go ahead and believe what you want. Those words, go ahead and believe what you want. Do those words mean that he's cheating?
No, those words mean she has brought this up multiple times with multiple different women. And that's what he says to get her to shut up. This is not the first time she's thought he's been, quote, thought he was cheating on her because he was nice to another woman. He opened the door for another woman when she was walking into Belk's, and then she thinks he's cheating. So, no, that doesn't mean he's cheating.
Yeah, this is what women are sharing with each other on TikTok right now, that if you think your guy is cheating, his response is go ahead and believe what you want, then he is. Then the answer is yes. Here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me about it. If I was cheating on my boyfriend and he said to me, are you cheating? I wouldn't say, go ahead and believe what you want. That's almost like admitting you are. I would say, no, of course I'm not. That's the first thing I would say. I would deny.
I'm not cheating. What are you, crazy? That's exactly what a cheater would say.
That's my point.
So it doesn't matter if you're cheating or not. You're going to say no. So don't even ask the question. And I can guarantee she's been bugging him about cheating on her many years, and he's just sick of hearing it. So believe whatever you want to believe, because I can't talk you out of your crazy head.
Right. That means you're not cheating. So I think these girls have it completely wrong. Go ahead and believe what you want means he is not cheating. Here's what means he's cheating. I'm not cheating.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
That means he's cheating.
I would never cheat on you. Cooper, are you cheating on Joe? Wow, that was a long silence.
No, of course not. I want to make it seem more salacious than it was, but I'd be like, unfortunately, I'm not. It's not for lack of trying.
That wasn't telling at all.
Sex, relationships, and advice.
You got 1 hour.
It's the Sex Hour.
Well, now that would be a happy hour.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
It is the Sex Hour, an entire hour of your sex and relationship questions. What do you got? Give us a call. We don't judge. We're here for you. Whatever's going on in your life, we want to hear everything. Jay, tell us everything.
Well, so me and my fiance have been together for 8 years and recently decided to open up the relationship. We talked about it for months and months and made rules and did all the things you're supposed to do. And now when it's getting down to the nitty-gritty, we decided to try at the beginning to go on dates on the same night. You know, try and balance it out and get used to things. And now, of course, tonight, when we are supposed to both go on a date, mine canceled. No backup plans, and it's tough. You know, I trust her, and we have rules and boundaries, and I don't think she's going to go past those or anything. It's just hard to let your mind wanders and all that kind of stuff, right?
Jay, these are the pitfalls of open relationships. That's just how it goes. I mean, I think it's a good idea that you guys originally thought that it would work out, that you both go on date nights and you each go out with different people. So that way, you know, you're with somebody while she's with somebody. That way it feels fair. It feels equitable. But just so you know, women find guys much easier in these open relationship situations than men find women. And we've discussed this before, but in case you haven't heard me say it, it's because women just have to walk out their door. A guy will bang them. You know what I mean? Like if they say to any guy, listen, I'm in another relationship, so nothing serious is going to happen here. This is just casual sex. You know what I mean? Most guys would be like, oh, okay.
No, I can't tonight.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, no, I don't want to bang you.
Right. But guys will say to a woman, especially a single woman, you know, it's not fair to have single women. What you should do is go after women who are also in open relationships. That way it's not an issue. But guys will go to women and say, you know, hey, just want to have sex. Don't want this to go anywhere. No relationship. Not going to call you. Not going to text you. Women are going to be like, yeah, I don't think so. You know, step off, jerk. Like that's going to be it. So you've got to be able to deal with it. If she's going to go on a date and you're going to get stood up and you're going to stay home, it's going to happen. And if you can't deal with it, then open relationships are not for you.
I'm going to propose the 7-Eleven rule to this.
Okay.
If you take a penny, you got to leave a penny. So if you're going to go out with a guy, you got to leave me a girl. So go find somebody and hook me up if you're going to get hooked up. It's not my job to get hooked up. It's yours now. So take a penny, leave a penny. There you go.
Okay, that is not an open relationship. That is something completely different. That's probably illegal in most states.
No, if you go out with a guy, you make sure he has a girlfriend and you bring her over and leave her at the house when you take the boyfriend out.
Okay, that's called swinging. And you could just go do that.
There you go. Then he won't be lonely because he's got his own penny at home.
You know, you're making a joke, but actually wife swapping would actually be the solution here for Jay and his girlfriend or fiance. That really would be the solution if you did wife swapping, because that way you'd have a couple. You're with her, she's with him.
There you go.
It's all equitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anthony just solved your problem.
In separate rooms in the same house. You don't have to leave the house. You guys can be there together.
Pick up the phone and start dialing.
It's the Sex Hour.
I could do it every hour on the hour.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Sex, relationships, and advice for an hour. 1 hour of the Sex Hour.
Hey, Aiden, how can I help you?
I've been with my fiance for almost 2.5 years now. The first year, kind of, I guess, the honeymoon phase, you would say everything was going great. Obviously, awesome enough to where I would propose and everything. And then I feel like things faded a little bit. We lived in different states for a little while, and then we moved into the same city. And she ended up moving in with me, and things just, I would say, dull out at first. But I have dealt with some bouts of depression throughout most of my life, just things with my childhood growing up and everything like that, and things I've been going to therapy for and stuff. Sometimes I feel like that takes effect on me, and it has affected her in the past. But over time, it's dulled out into our sexual relationship to where there's really not much there, like no spark there anymore. And she doesn't reciprocate in really almost any way now at this point, to where, then we talked about it, to where she says she feels pressured by it. I feel like she doesn't really want me to do anything right now. Not really sure what to do.
Aiden, you got engaged to make sure everything was there between you guys. You get engaged to see, like, is this going to work? Are we compatible in that way? Can things work out? You may have found out that your relationship doesn't work. I don't know that it has a lot to do with the fact that you're depressed. The fact that she's also not engaged and doesn't reciprocate. She feels pressure. She's sort of checked out. What's her excuse? So you guys lived in different cities. It was more exciting. But now that you moved in together, that's why you move in together. That's why you get engaged, to see, will this work? And as Anthony will tell you, if you eat wedding cake, it doesn't get better. It's not like getting married makes your sex life better. It usually does the opposite.
Aiden, come here. Sit next to me. Come here. Let me put my arm around you. Let me tell you a little story, Aiden. It's a guy called Anthony. You probably know him. You listen to him sometimes. He went through the same thing. You could wake up one day and be this. Don't want to be this.
You don't want to be that.
There's nothing fun about this at all.
Not pretty. Nope.
No, Aiden, run. Just shh, run.
Go to the store.
Buy
yourself
cigarettes.
Some sneakers.
Just never come back. Just
buy some sneakers.
Like we said last night, fill up the car and just drive. When the car runs out of gas, that's where you live now, Aiden. Do that, or you're going to wake up one day in 2024. This.
And you don't want to be this.
No.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Give it to me.
It's the Sex Hour.
Full hour.
Sex, relationships, and advice.
The Sex Hour. Cooper is the psychologist, Dr. Cooper. She's taking your calls. Calls about anything. Calls about sex, relationships. You just need advice. That's what we're here for.
Hi, Susan. What do you need advice about?
So I have a 4-year-old son, and I just want to know what conversations to have with him now and as he ages, so that he doesn't have any shame surrounding sex.
Nothing now. He's 4. You always have to be age appropriate with kids. And when it comes to kids, what you do, Susan, you wait for them to ask you questions. He's at 4 years old, he's not thinking about sex. He doesn't understand sex and relationships yet. No, he's 4. But at some point, probably by the time he's maybe 7 or 8, he may start wondering, where do babies come from? And I think that's an opportunity to have a real conversation with him. Usually between the ages of 8 and 10 is when kids start asking those questions and they want to know the answer for real. At some point, he will start asking questions. That's when you talk to him. Keep everything age appropriate even then. But at 4, let him be 4.
You can talk to your son when he's 4 about sex if the 4 ends in teen. If it's
Right,
14, then you can. At 4, that's too young. Cooper, when children are 4, can they walk?
Can
they talk?
Some of them can.
Can they talk?
Some of them can.
Okay, so Cooper has no clue.
I would hope at 4 they can talk.
You
Can
don't?
they talk at 4?
Can they feed
You can talk
themselves
at
at 4?
Sure. They could probably get a job and go move out somewhere.
Do you give a
They can probably
4-year-old a
drive.
bottle? Do you give them a bottle or food?
I don't know if to be nice if they want one. Why would you be mean to a 4-year-old?
She has no idea about kids. When a kid walks up to her, she goes, "Is that kid 12 or 3?"
Is that kid 12 or 40? I have no idea. We talked about that 5-year-old this week who stole the tractor and drove it around. So apparently they can drive by 5.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Coming up, remember when we all said to each other as kids, if we're not married by 40, let's marry each other? Well, that's sort of happening to this one guy. And what would you say if you found out your social worker was a stripper, or if you found out your stripper was a social worker?
That's next on the Sex Hour.
Sex. Relationship.
And advice. It's the Sex Hour.
Enjoy.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
We got sex, relationships, and advice, but give me as many details as possible. Sometimes people call and they go, how do I do this? Well, I need more information. So Wyatt, please, give us just a little bit more information here.
I have a close friend, a straight female, whose friendship I really appreciate. We have similar values and appreciate similar things, and we pass the time well together. It's a very comfortable relationship. I admire her for many things, and it's just a really nice part of my life. This woman has been at my side when I was breaking up with people and going through difficult things over the past couple of years. I would have wanted to date her, but the simple problem is that I'm just not attracted to her, and I probably never will be. It's just not that kind of chemistry. It's much more like brotherly, sisterly. I am fond of her, and I feel affectionately toward her, but not in any sexual way. Well, guess what? She came to visit a few days ago, and after hanging out for a good part of the weekend, maybe 4 hours each day, not sure, over herbal tea, like some kind of romantic comedy, she said that she had a huge crush on me and that if I ever want to make things more than friendship, she's in. And I said I was kind of surprised and shocked and never thought about it that way, and then we left it at that. Maybe this is crazy, but when I fast forward 50 years to when I'm 80, I don't think it matters whether I'm really attracted to my partner because everyone gets old and saggy. What I'm saying is, do you think it makes any sense to ask her for what might be called a companionate kind of relationship? To basically say, let's be partners, but not be sexual.
No, of course not. I mean, listen, if you decide to become celibate or if you're asexual, sure, makes perfect sense. You want to be with somebody who's kind of like your best friend that you get along with great. But why do you never want to have sex the rest of your life? Why are you thinking now about what your life is going to be at 80? This is such an antiquated old concept. First of all, people they feel old whenever they want to feel old. But most people who stay sexually active never feel old. Never. So I would not wish that on you. I want you to have great sex your entire life. I want your last breath to be taking off a condom. You know what I mean? When you're 100 years old going, well, that was awesome. So, no, of course, listen, I know that this girl has been very close with you and you feel some sort of bond with her, but you're not interested in her. You got to be honest about that. You deserve sex. You deserve someone you love. You deserve to have a wild ride. You got a lot to look forward to. It's not with this woman.
Every guy needs a girl in his life that's just a friend that can be there and you can unload on with relationship issues. This is that girl. So she's not saying don't keep her as a friend, but just don't keep her as a girlfriend. Why do you think Cooper's got so many friends? Nobody wanted to bang her. They didn't want to have a relationship. They just wanted her as a friend because she gives good advice.
That's right.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
All about sex, relationships, and advice right now for 1 hour because Cooper is a psychologist and she's taking your questions seriously.
What do you want to know, Carrie?
I'm a 28-year-old female, and I have a question about sex work and relationships. Right now, I work full-time as a social worker, and I work with really little kids and their families, and I'm broke. It's a good job, but I don't get paid much, and I have student loans to pay back, and I'm considering dancing to make some extra money, but I'm wondering what kind of detrimental effects that might have on both my career if somebody found out that I was doing that and on any future relationships. I'd hope that if I met a guy that I wanted to be with, he would be okay with me dancing, but I know full well that I could possibly meet somebody wonderful and then they find out that I've been dancing and wouldn't want to be with me. So I'm just wondering what you think. If it's worth doing it now for the extra money so I can live, or if I should steer clear of making money that way because of my career and possible future relationships.
She could put a bag on her head and be the unknown stripper. And nobody would know who she is. She just got a hot body and you never see her face.
Instead of a bag on her head, can she just wear one of those masks, like a full mask? At least she can breathe and see out of it.
Like a Jason mask. She could, for Halloween, she could be like Michael Myers stripper. There you go. Nobody would know.
I wonder if they'd let you do that. I wonder if you go to a strip club and be like, I want to work here. I obviously have the body, but I can't reveal who I am. So I'm just going to go. I'm going to be Hillary Clinton.
I'm Chucky.
Put a Hillary Clinton mask on.
I made no money tonight. I mean, I gave 17 lap dances and I got zero money.
Nobody paid me. They all told me to F off.
I knew I should have been it. I knew it. But no, I was Hillary Clinton. Damn it. Make no money.
Here's the crazy thing about this, Carrie. The fact that you're even asking this question makes me so mad on two levels. One is that they don't pay social workers enough to help children. So that's problem one.
Yeah.
And problem two is that guys can go to a strip club, but you can't be a stripper. Like, guys could certainly go to strip clubs and then go off to their jobs as pediatricians or doctors or nurses or social workers, but you can't be the stripper they're coming to see. Like, that's,
Sex, relationships, and advice. The Cooper and Anthony Show.
That is.
You've got a kink. Don't be afraid to put a finger in the stink. Though I know you might be shy, let me show you things to try. 'Cause like everyone you know, you've got a kink.
Your week is finally over, so you can bring in Fetish Friday right now.
Woohoo!
You call up with your fetish questions, and then Cooper will help you out and let you know, this is what you do.
Hey, Carla, what's going on in your world?
So I have been with my boyfriend for about 2 years, and for about a year and a half of that, we've been kind of experimenting with this fetish of his, which is he kind of likes me to go and be with other people and then tell him about it. Or recently he's been wanting me to do other things like make videos and send those to him. But it's gotten to a point where I'm like kind of confused as to what we do now, because like a lot of the times it's fine and we have a good time with everything, but lately he's been having this thing where if I do anything, he instantly regrets asking me to do anything as soon as I do it. Once he's not in the mood, then he feels really bad about himself and he feels really bad about asking me to do anything. So I don't want to hurt him, so I'm like really confused as to what do I do.
Okay, so the fetish that you're talking about is called cuckolding, and it's a very powerful sexual turn-on for some men. They get aroused by the idea of their romantic partner, their woman, engaging in sexual activity with somebody else. That's what's been going on. I think it's very key and very interesting that it's 2 years in and that he's starting to think about maybe not doing this anymore. You know, it says that he might be starting to see you in a more relationship-y kind of way. And that's what's making him uncomfortable. You know, first you were his girlfriend, it was hot. Now he's kind of thinking like, well, I don't know. It's 2 years. Like, what if I married her? Do I want to do this with my wife? That might feel different for him, you know? So it's probably very conflicting for him, too, because it's his kink, yet he's starting to have trouble enjoying it with you, the person he's with and presumably in love with. So you got to find out from him, is he starting to see you differently? And that's where his conflict is coming in? Or is it something else? Because people who enjoy kinks and fetishes and then start to no longer enjoy them as much, it's usually for a reason.
Once the blood rushes back to your brain, you think differently as a guy. Once the blood leaves the brain and goes somewhere else for a while, you totally think of things in a totally different light.
Yeah, but they've been doing this for a year and a half.
It's been there for a while. It takes a long time, I guess, for his blood to get from point A to point B.
Oh, yeah,
so guys can be, it's total Jekyll and Hyde. That's where that comes from. Is you're Jekyll down here, you're Hyde and then when you're Hyde, you're like, I don't like this anymore. But then later on, you like it.
Up next, fake or for real fetish.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
All right, Anthony, it's time to play fake or for real fetish. I'm going to tell you a fetish, and you have to guess, did I make it up, or is it a real fetish that's out there?
Okay.
Okay. A fetish that involves snakes.
Snakes? Like
snakes. Yeah, like snakes, like touching them and
no,
rubbing them. And
no, that's weird.
Wrapping them around you and that kind of thing.
No.
Okay, that is fake. Yeah, that's very fake.
I almost said yes because I was thinking the Britney Spears snake thing, snake charm, but no.
Right. Okay. Fake or for real fetish? A fetish that involves turtles.
Turtles. Yes, because I used to play a porn of a turtle. Remember this turtle? Wow. This is actually a turtle having sex.
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
So this is what the noise they make when they have sex. So I'm going to say yes.
That is right. It is a real fetish. It's called Chilanophilia. But they usually like to be surrounded by images of turtles. They don't want to have sex with turtles. They just want to like look at them, and maybe someone can dress like them. They have like little turtle things around. They like looking at photos of them the same way you would look at naked photos of women.
That's just really weird. That's weird that the snake isn't a fetish, but the turtle is a fetish.
I know. All right, let's stay with the animal theme here. Is there a fetish where people get aroused by having ants crawl all over them?
No, that's no. Please, no.
It's for real.
No.
Yep, it's formicophilia, and they like when something is crawling upon them or nibbling at them, like insects, ants, anything small, crawly, any little tiny crawlies.
Oh, no. They can get in places.
Yeah. I think that's the point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, what about being stung by a bee? Is that a sexual turn-on for anybody out there?
No, because it's horrible. It's a horrible, horrible death.
Well, you're forgetting about the pain, people. So being stung by a bee is a fetish. And
is
you're
it
gonna
really?
Love this. It is, and guess what it's called?
Bedophobia.
Funnier. It's called Melissaphilia. And that's funny because Anthony's wife's name is Melissa, in case you didn't know that. And what's interesting about it is it started with bee and wasp stings as penis enlargement in ancient times, but it's sort of morphed into a fetish.
No. And they had to call it that.
I know. Some girl named Melissa.
Oh, wow.
It was a beekeeper.
Yeah, that hits way too close to home. All of that, the whole story.
Okay, let me give you another one. Is this fetish fake or for real? A fetish where the person gets sexually turned on by touching jellyfish.
No, because that's a horrible death.
No, you don't die from touching jellyfish.
I felt like I was going to die when I got stung by jellyfish. It's not fun.
Sting you.
It hurts. So
I just told you about people who like being stung by bees and ants walking all over them.
Jellyfish are worse than ants and bees.
Okay, it's fake. I made it up.
Yeah, okay.
Up next, can you use the same vibrator for multiple partners? We're going to discuss that.
Sex, relationships, and advice. The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Fetish Friday.
'Cause way down deep inside, we've all got kinks.
We've got a kink, we've got a kink, we've got a kink.
Got a fetish, got something going on in your life you need advice on? That's what we do now on a Friday. It's called Fetish Friday.
Okay, Casey, what's your question?
Question about using the same vibrator for multiple partners. I'm polyamorous, and I was recently hanging out with some female friends, and I was talking about getting like a Vesper, like a little necklace vibrator, just so I could have that on hand, you know, if anything ever gets spicy. And they were all like, oh no, like you can't use the same toy on multiple people. And I was really curious to hear a perspective from an expert about that, like the do's and don'ts, like even if you sanitize things, if it's kind of taboo to do so.
Okay, so it's not that it's taboo. It's not about being taboo. It's about risking infection. And it's also about the kind of toys you use and how clean you get them, how good you are at cleaning them. So there was a study published in the journal Sexually Transmitted Diseases. Yes, that is a journal. And it looked at HPV. It was wondering, the journal people were wondering, can HPV live on toys, on sex toys that touch vaginas? So that to test it, what they did was they had clean sex toys, brand new sex toys, and they gave them to women who have HPV, and they said, here, use this. And then once they were done, they took the toys, they cleaned them. They cleaned the heck out of them. But what they found was shocking. 56% of the non-silicone toys and 44% of the silicone toys still had HPV on them. Yes. This is after cleaning them. This is after scientists and researchers cleaned them. So that means even if the toy was cleaned, if two people share a toy, the risk of transmission is pretty high. The only toy that is out there that has a snowball chance of reusing are medical grade silicone toys. It has to be medical grade, it has to be silicone, okay? And then you got to follow the 24-hour rule. You got to wash them with fragrance-free soap and warm water. Then you wait 24 hours, and then you can use them again, and they're less likely to have HPV or an STI or anything else like that. But here's the thing. I don't know if you can clean it properly enough. You know, you're not a scientist. You don't know how to really properly clean something. So why risk it? Why risk it? It's not taboo, and it's not just gross. It's risky. You can potentially be giving your partners HPV and STIs. It's not worth it.
Yeah, they probably use like an autoclave and things like that, like scientific-y things. And they probably put it in a microwave and boiled it and killed it with fire, and it still lived. So, no, don't trust it.
Right.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Coming up, what does it mean for your relationship if your boyfriend wants to watch you have sex with another man in front of him? And can an adult baby live with a woman who feels like this kink is a hard pass? That's next when Fetish Friday continues.
Is it kinky? Sex, relationships, advice. The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Fetish Friday. Call up with your fetishes now, and Cooper will help you.
I just like F words. Hey, Georgia, what's going on?
My boyfriend wants to watch me have sex with another man, and he wants to be part of it. He says it will turn him on watching me. He finds me so attractive, and part of it being able to kiss me and touch me, and I don't know what to think of this. What does this mean? What is it going to open up in the future? He says it would be a one thing and done, and no one that he knows that we would find someone safe, but I just would like to know your opinion and perhaps experience with this circumstance.
Okay, so like our previous caller, this is another type of cuckolding. This one is called hot wifing. Some men like their woman to go out and have sex and then tell them about it, like our previous caller. Others like to be there while it's happening. This is part of consensual non-monogamy. But the biggest part of that is the consensual part. So are you consenting to do this with him? You know, is this just his thing? Here's the problem. I do not believe for one moment that this is a one and done thing, as your boyfriend is saying. There's no way. This is a kink. It's a humiliation kink, and it's hardwired. It is in his DNA. So for him to say this is going to happen once and that's going to be it, and I call BS. I don't buy it at all. Seeing your woman with another man can be humiliating and emasculating. That's part of the turn on. But to be into this kind of kink, you have to be a willing hot wife. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't like that he isn't being honest with you. Saying, let's try this once, that's a kind of a backhand kind of way to get your feet wet, so to speak. You know, to introduce you to his kink that he
more than
really doesn't have the balls to tell you about. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he should come out and say, I'm into this. Let's do this. How do you feel about it? But to pretend like we're just going to try this once, it's going to be a one and done. I don't. This is the equivalent of just the tip. Same exact thing.
And you got to find a guy who doesn't have an issue with your husband watching.
Oh, there's plenty of guys out there. That's not so hard. That's not the hard part.
That's not the hard part. Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're on apps. Believe me, there's tons of guys out there that are. Listen, there's guys in open relationships who are married, whose wives are going out there and banging like crazy, and they're not. So this is their opportunity. Those are the perfect candidates for hot wifing. So, Georgia, before you consent to this, you need to know what you're getting into. Is this his kink, right? Or is he just playing with the idea, like, hey, let's try this out? You need a lot more information here before you decide if you consent or don't consent. My take on it is that this is his kink and this is his cowardly way to tell you about it. But you're going to have to find that out for yourself.
Sex, relationships, and advice. The Cooper and Anthony Show.
You've got a kink. You've got a kink. Don't be afraid to put a finger in the stink. Though I know you might be shy, let me show you things to try. 'Cause like everyone you know, you've got a kink.
We tried to do this segment on Tuesday, but Fetish Tuesday didn't sound right. Fetish really Friday sounded more better. So we said, let's do fetishes on Friday.
All right, Luke, what's your question?
Yeah, I just had a question about just kind of like sex and communication. My wife and I don't really have really great communication with that, but I'm also into something called ABDL or ABDL. And I suppress a lot of things just because she's not into it or thinks it's completely wrong, like demonic, and just like wants nothing to do with it. And I thought it would be something that I could live without, but because I'm suppressing things and unable to talk about it, it might jeopardize our marriage. Like, I just don't know kind of like what to do. Like, is it normal, and is it something that I would grow out of or can eliminate, or is it just because this kink is here, it's just who I am in a way? I don't know if that's really a question, but hopefully you can answer it.
No, it's a question. I have a lot to say on this. I have very strong opinions on this, in fact, Luke. Anthony, do you remember a couple of weeks ago you learned what ABDL is?
Isn't that adult baby thing?
Yep, adult baby. That's exactly what it is, ABDL.
Okay.
So, Luke, here's my issue with this. I am not into the fact that she's kink shaming you. I love how you're just like, yeah, she thinks it's demonic. She is kink shaming you. You opened up about something very vulnerable and very real for you, and she's calling it demonic? That's not okay. You know, I get that maybe she's not into it. No one's saying that she has to participate or whatever. But to use words like that is really harsh and frankly not very loving. You know, if my boyfriend came home and said to me that he's into adult baby stuff or something that I wasn't into, I would say, babe, I love you. I want you to be happy. Go do that. Go find a community. Go do it there. Go find a dungeon, whatever, a dom, somebody who you can do this with. It's not going to be me. You know, that's what I would say. That's not what she's saying. She's basically shaming you and calling you names. So that is not okay in any way, shape, or form. Also, you asked, could you grow out of it or get rid of it? No, that's not. There's no way to get rid of or grow out of a fetish, despite what some people might tell you. It's not possible. The current
especially that one, because that one never grows up. You stay 2 years old. So.
The current science is that fetishes are developed in childhood. It's an innate part of your sexuality. It's hardwired. It's who you are. It's pretty similar to sexual orientation. It cannot be changed. So her rejecting your kink is her rejecting you. You know, I mean, my overall opinion, and I'm sorry to say this, Luke, is that this relationship, I don't see how you're going to work it out. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
You should have added yourself as an adult baby when you first started dating her, when you started getting more serious, or maybe you weren't comfortable with who you were yet. But I don't know why you didn't tell her sooner, but look, you told her. That's all that's important. This is the equivalent of you getting married to a woman and then realizing you're gay. It's a non-starter. This is who you are.
It's that big.
You know?
It's that big of a roadblock.
Right. Yeah, you do not grow out of this. You do not, this never leaves who you are. I mean, I guess, listen, again, it's like being gay. If you are in love with a woman that you're with and you want to stay with her, you go, you know what? I'm not going to bang guys. That's all. I'm just never going to bang guys. I'm never going to actualize or realize that part of myself and my personality.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing here. You know, if I were you, I would go find myself somebody who's more sex positive, you know, who would let you be you. Not even somebody who has to be in the ABDL community, just somebody who will love you for who you are. Because she's not even doing that. She's shaming you. And I have a really big problem with that.